Morning, everyone. I know I'm coming on a little early this morning, um, just a little early this morning, because I want to take a little time to talk to you, and in hopes that it gives you some strength and some settlement within yourself. Over the weekend, I know a lot of people, including myself, have been thinking about election. And tomorrow is going to be a determiner on tomorrow. So I want to take a few just kind of tell you something that, God laid on my heart. And I was talking with a dear friend of mine yesterday, and she was really gave me some good insight about what to do at such a time like this. And even though sometimes you're thinking about it, you need that confirmation from someone who's really sincere, and look through a real pair of glasses. When I say that, the lenses of life, facts of life, that yes, we are facing a time in history that we'll never forget. And you have to, and I learned this from my husband, my friend Janet. First of all, she was telling me yesterday when I talked to her about doing, you know what I'm talking about. It left my mind right quick. How you have to do something in order for when you're looking for an answer from God and you're fasting. There that word goes. Thank you, Lord, thank you. She was telling me about on yesterday in praying. And when you're looking for a word from God, when you're looking for some calmness, you have to do accordingly as he leads and he guides you. And so one of the things she was saying that I'm talking about fasting. Well, I have low blood sugar, so I can't fast in some manners that others do. But that is the second time I've heard that. And so I feel like that is what God is asking me to do for myself and to share with others. Find a way of fasting starting today and throughout tomorrow. Some of the other things that you must do, take in a lot of fluids. And I'm going to tell you this as a counselor, this is something that they taught us. Take in a lot of fluids, because whenever you are stressing about something or you're concerned about something, it dehydrates you, whether you want to believe it or not. It does dehydrate you. So I'm telling y'all myself, I have water here to keep myself dehydrated. I'll be doing that throughout today and tomorrow. Even though I drink water, I'm going to increase it, because water. And so that's some of what I'm going to do. Also, I call it detoxing. I have made a commitment to myself through the detoxing and the fasting. It all means the same. I don't want to see any news outlet in relationship to this election. I can find out the results on the 4th, whatever they might be. But I am saying to you, as well as to myself, find something to help you to get through these next 2 days. Because this here, we are making history. We are making history. It's going to go one way or the other. So I'm asking you, as well as I said to myself, as well as my friend Janice said to me, calm down to the best that you can. We're going to pray. We're going to focus on things that will take our minds away from all of that rhetoric. And I will say this, as many people that are hurting in this world today, there is an enormous amount of people who are willing to go along with wrong. And election has showed me the face of so many people, the true face of so many people. It has caused me to shake my head, to question, how could you stand for the things that you've already witnessed, and you call it right? God let me know that I am still God. And just like I see you and your cares, I see them. And I'm going to deal from both sides. I'm going to take care of that because I'm God. And at the end of the day, see, sometimes when God is speaking to us, we don't want to hear that. But we have to listen because he's always trying to get us to better. He sees what many of us are witnessing. He sees it too. So it doesn't matter how people can call wrong right. He told us in his word that they're in a reprobated mind. I didn't say it. His word says it. So stop wondering how people can sit up. Millions of people are willing to go along with wrong because of whatever it is that they see is right and that they're getting out of the deal. I don't know. That's not my problem. But God knows. He's going to fix it. Oh, yes, he is. He's going to fix it. And I will say this again. Anytime you have as much pain that's in this world on today, nobody wins. See, those mothers, where those 545 children are locked up in those cages, you know what? They may never see the. You think about if that was you. But people still willing to stand with someone who does that, who validates that. Those kids, 500 kids, will never see their parents again. And you don't know who's going to come in their life and take advantage of them. That is pain. Maybe that's not you. But there's a mother out there. There's a father out there. And it's painful what they're going through. That's like one of us, our children, being murdered. I worked with parents of murdered children. Let me tell you something. That's a hard pain. Parents whose children are being kidnapped right today. They don't know where they're at. Hard pain. How can you say you winning? Nobody's going to win in this. This is pain. We're just trying to get to better. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to better. We're trying to get to a position where we can help one another, where we can do something and move on and move. But when there is this much pain, how can you stand on the wrong side? And I have to talk to y'all today because people are hurting. 545 children, their parents don't know where their parents are. Don't know where their parents are. Good morning, Gail. What else is on the line? You got health care on the line. that's going to impact people down there, especially in Kentucky. They get a check due to Obamacare for $695 for their husbands working in the coal mines where they had the black lung disease, whether they're still living. If Obamacare is taken away, those spouses down in Kentucky are going to lose a check for $695 a month. If Obamacare goes away, since there are those who want to rally and shout and stand behind someone that's trying to tear down Obamacare. Healthcare is in that healthcare law. That's in there. Those kids that are on there with that insurance, where they can stay on their parents' insurance to 26, that's in college, you know what? That's in there. Myself and others, pre-existing conditions, that's in there, that protects you. That's going to impact your healthcare costs. You know, that money that you pay before the doctor see you, that's going to increase if Obamacare is stripped away. So healthcare is on the line. DACA is on the line for the dreamers. People who are sitting there serving in the military, who are from other countries, that's on the line, people. We are dealing with a serious situation here. It's no joke about what we're dealing with. And what I'm saying on this morning, because God laid it on my heart to share, because he knows there are so many people who are so concerned, but he also knows that there are those who are out there willing to stand on the wrong side of history. It's something that they want. Look here, women's rights to her own body is on the line. And you take this away. Why do men have to have a right to make a decision about what goes on with a woman's body? The late Barbara Bush said that many years ago when women took to the streets for women's rights. That is on the line for us in this election. It's on the ballot for us in this election. And when I see women that will stand out there and say that they are in support of someone who wants to strip us as women our rights, I've already voted. Every woman that has not voted needs to vote, because guess what? Our are on the line in this election. You are dealing with someone rights away. We cannot sit down and not do something. Don't worry about the 4th if you didn't do nothing on the 3rd. Because to sit silent is to say, I don't want to run my life. I'm going to let these other people make the decision for my life. And God gave you the same power that he gave them. Everybody got one vote. You, look here, I am going to share with y'all this morning something that you probably saw it on the news outlet, but it happened to me. I received one of those phone calls telling me, this is all about suppression, telling me that it's a recording that you receive, that that you have a warrant, and if you go to the polls, you will to vote, you're going to be taken to jail from the poll, because they're going to they'll know that you have a warrant. I know that I don't have a warrant, but you think about how many people out there that receive that phone call that might believe that. I had already voted, but I called the election division, received one of those calls, and I kept the recording. That is going to happen. They're not going to stop. That is a part of voter suppression. Let me tell you something. People don't care. And I've come to this election cycle. And I have to say, as a friend of mine said, evangelicals that's going along with all this wrong than I am of the police. You are going along with things you know are wrong. You're going along with that. And yes, Gail, I saw you at the polls. Now, we got to get together. And we got to start telling other people to get to these polls. Go out and vote. Tomorrow is the 3rd. They're going to open up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Get out and vote like your life depends on it, because it does. It does. Because guess what? We're not just voting for ourselves. We are voting for our children and our children's children and their children. Gone. If these people are able to stay in place and change these laws that can last for 30 and 40 years, come on, people, and you're going to sit and say that your vote don't count? That is just rhetoric. That is stuff that people are telling you to get your minds and brainwash you. We are in the fight of our lives. We cannot sit back and act like nothing is going on. And you know what? I heard Judge Mathis say this, and I've heard a lot of people saying, well, young black men aren't voting, say they're not going to vote, or whatever. And then young Hispanic men saying that they're not going to vote for whatever they for whatever. All I can say is what Judge Mathis said. You cannot sit and look at what they are talking about, because 80% of the women have always carried the weight of black men. Let me say that again. 80% of black women have always carried the weight of black men. We've always done it. So black, we got to rise up. Since they talking about black men deciding not to vote, we for every black man that's not gonna vote, let's get 10 more black women to it that way. For every Hispanic man, Mexican man that want to vote, all right, Hispanic women, let's get 10 more Hispanic women to the polls. See, you can beat this thing, because it's all rhetoric. It's all things to suppress you in your mind to not want to go out and vote on tomorrow. But let me say this. There's a statement years ago, I remember when President Obama was running, and they said, vote or die. This morning, vote or die. In other words, vote on it. This is a time that we're in right now. We can't act on, people. Things are going on right under our nose. And something that my late husband used to always say, you got to talk to the people about what's going on. You got to meet the people where, guess what? If you thinking about it, they thinking about it too. So if I'm thinking about it too, we got to vote. We got to tell people to get out there and vote like our life depends on it, because this here gonna make history, or it's gonna break history. Get out there and do the right thing. I don't care how many history. We gonna stand on the right side of history. We are going to stand on the right side of history. Like our ancestors stood there. Our ancestors stood there so that we can have the very rights that we have today. Our ancestors stood there when they didn't want them to vote. Some of them were water holes
down. I'm talking about the power water hose. Some of them were killed. Some of them were hung and burned while their parents had to look at them standing from afar as others mocked it and looked at it like it like it was a movie because they was burning black men. And how can black men say, I'm not going to vote because there's nothing in it for me? Well, guess what? They didn't kill more black men in this year. And it will increase if you don't get out there and get somebody who's going to work on these laws like the George Floyd law. See, they want you to forget about that. That 8 minutes and 40 seconds. They want you to forget about that. Don't you forget about that. Don't you never forget about that. Right now, we have a Senate down there that won't even pass the bill. Congress did it way back when it first happened. You know why? It's not their fathers out there dying, so they don't care. It's black men and women who are out there being killed by the very people that's supposed to protect them. And you saying it's nothing in it. You have a reason to vote, and you got a Senate sitting down there that refuses, headed up by Mitch McConnell. He refuses down there from Kentucky. Kentucky ought to be the first ones at the poll because that's where they're out there. They march for Breonna. Now it's time to vote for Breonna Taylor because Breonna Taylor can't vote because she's not here. Her mama is here left with the pain. See what I'm talking about? All of this pain that's out here. Nobody wins because there's too much pain. But we are trying to heal. So when your vote don't count, they are lying to keep you from them polls. You got power, and you got the same kind of power that they got. Because that's not their children. That those who get out there and say, oh, what they say, cops for police for Trump or whatever, black cop lives matter. We know cop lives matter. All lives matter. Right now, the focus is black lives because we are the ones that are losing our children, our husbands. We have to tell our black men that when the cops stops them to make sure, keep your hand on the steering wheel. Don't reach for nothing. Don't put your hands out the window. Don't say nothing. Let them just do whatever they. We got to do that. We have to teach our grandchildren and our children how to protect themselves in America where they're supposed to be free. And you say you don't have nothing to, your vote don't count. You know why they tell you that? Because that keeps the same people in office, allowing them to continue to do this for year after year after year. If you want to change laws, you got to change people. You keep leaving these people in place. You leaving somebody in place in Kentucky. You are willing to leave somebody in place, whatever, a group of people like him, but they didn't kill their daughter. Police didn't kill their daughter. They didn't shoot their daughter 19 times. Understand what I'm saying? So Kentucky, you ought to be knocking them walls down on tomorrow, getting there and voting. You vote or you die. sick of people always trying to act like something wrong with us. Now you got all these slogans out there. Nobody never said that police lives didn't matter. We got police in our family, but bad police need to be taken out of the equation. What I mean, send them home. They don't need to deal with people, because if dealing with people says to kill people, that's your answer. Your answer. The young man that they shot down like a dog the other day in Philadelphia, his mom was screaming and hollering. She got to live with that. And you want to sit at the house and not vote and not try to change some of these laws? People, we got to change some laws here. We cannot just stay like we are. We got to get these people out of office. I'm talking about from the head down. These are people in place right now are supporting these very laws that are killing our people, and all these mothers can do is try their best to live with it. And just because it's not you today, it don't mean it can't be you tomorrow. And I'm going to say this because I'm tired of hearing people say, well, in 1994, the crime bill. Well, guess what? The Black Caucus supported the crime bill. The crime, both Democrats and Republicans, it was bipartisan. You know how that bill came into play? Because down there in California, drugs had gotten so bad that they were afraid to live in their own homes. They were killing people left and right. The people started crying out and asking somebody to please help them. They were pleading for help. And so that crime bill came about. Yes, he was a part of supporting it, but the Black Caucus was a part of supporting it. Because Black people were breaking in Black people's houses, and when they but check this out. This is what a lot of people don't know, but I'm going to share this with y'all this morning because all y'all getting is that, oh, he supported the 1994 crime bill. Yeah, he supported it. He didn't write it. He supported it though, but a lot of Black people supported it, and that's what Black people wanted. Because guess what? Black people could not even sell their homes in certain areas because it was so bad down there. Nobody wanted to buy the house. But Newt Gingrich came in. That's it wasn't designed to just, oh, we're just gonna do this bill so everybody can be put in prison. That was not why that was done, because of the fact those elderly Black people, they were breaking in, stealing from those Black people, elderly Black people, and they were afraid. And happened, what took place. I'm just taking some time out this morning to break this down, since everybody want to keep saying, well, that's why Black men don't want to vote. Now, Black men not voting because they don't want to vote. Stop hiding behind 1994 bill. They out there killing you right now in 2020. They killing Black men right now in 2020. Look who you got sitting in office right now in 2020. And they killing Black men, and he's saying there's good people on both sides. Okay, act like you don't hear me if you want to. I'm talking some real stuff here this morning. Ain't no sense in turning your heads, because you know what? You got some Black sons that could be them tomorrow. You got some Black daughters that can be them tomorrow. You have yourself, if you Black, that can be you tomorrow. That 1994, hey, look here. That man didn't write that bill. That man supported that bill. But Newt Gingrich was the one, when he got in place and became Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich was the one that said that states could, the Republicans, that then said he gave it to the states, and the states handled it like they wanted to handle it. That's and the states took control to handle that how they wanted, and they took that bill to their advantage and started incarcerating an enormous amount of black men. So hey, you can set that to the side. I'm talking serious this morning because we have to. We deal with issues like they are. Stop putting stuff to the back. Like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. As people, we better start talking about some stuff outside of foolishness. And let me go a little bit further. Because I had you training, because at that time I was a legal advocate. Let me tell you something. Not only was that happening, they ain't never tell you. They never told you that, you see that Violence Against Women Act? Look it up. You don't have to take it from me. I was working with battered women and children. Republicans was fighting that bill. You know who wrote that bill? Co-sponsored? Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. I know because I was working in the field at that time when that passed, that Violence Against Women Act. That came from that very man that they trying to make you feel like, oh, he's such a scary person. Oh, Joe can't think, he can't hear, whatever that mess they got going on. Let me tell you something. When that 1994 bill happened and a lot of them was going to prison, I got a secret for you. A lot of them, those men, was beating the heck out of women. Yeah, they was hiding behind the drugs, but they was over there beating the heck out of those women they was with. Come on, let's talk about domestic violence here. Since everybody want to act like, oh, they took them away from their family. Some of them women, I'm gonna tell you, because I dealt with some of them, they was glad that they locked them up, because that was her only way of escape. That was the only safety for her children. Stop acting like this stuff ain't real. And some of these, to be honest with you, you know why? I can talk about what I worked in and I witnessed. See, that Violence Against Women Act, it saved a whole lot of women. Because women their rights began to be strengthened. And you know what happened? At that point? That man that they criticizing right now said, we got to do something about that because of his love for women. Because he got a wife. He lost his first wife, but I got a wife. I don't treat her like that. I got her like that. And I don't think that no man should treat her like that. Now you evaluate that yourself, since you want to get out here and say women for. If you're willing to give up your rights, that's you. I'm not willing to daughter that's got to come up in this world, will beat the pulp out of her, and she don't have no rights, because at a time in 2020 we took a seat and said, y'all just vote how y'all want to. My vote don't count. I voted like my life depends on it, like my granddaughter's life depends on it, and every other woman in my family, and every young might feel like he got the rights to mistreat. I'm voting for that woman. Because this is not an individual thing. This is for Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever people, because we don't know the work they've done. But I am telling you, I'm in the trenches. Biden and Hillary sponsored that bill. Talk about that while you're talking about the 1994 crime bill. And some of them didn't go to jail because of the crime bill. A lot of them went because they were sex offenders. Know why I know? Because 3 assault unit. I know what I'm talking about. They said it was drugs because they knew if they went down there and those guys found out that they had been in there for child molestation and other sex crimes, they knew that they would be that they wasn't gonna survive in there. What I am telling you, we are dealing with some real stuff. We're dealing with some real stuff, y'all. And I'm talking like this because guess what? We got one more day tomorrow. I want people to go out there and flood those polls like never before. We got a lot on the line. I got a grandson. He's black. And I don't want to get that phone call. My daughter don't want to get that phone call. We don't want that. Like George Floyd's family. And you shouldn't want that for yours. You shouldn't want to get that phone call. Y'all better hear me this morning. This is what God laid on my heart, and this is what I'm going to share. Because it makes no sense how we sit back and act like it's nothing. Let me tell you, we are in the fight of our life. We are in the fight of, but I will go back like Eric Holder said on Friday. When Rachel Maddow asked him, she said, "You're the most calmest politician I know." And she said, "How can you be like that?" He said, "Because they have the same power. I got the same power they have. We both got one vote." You gonna be afraid of the same power that you got the same power they got? And as my late husband would say, how you gonna be afraid? You don't have no reason to be afraid when you nobody when you can access the same things they got. You can access that ballot just like they can. Hear me this morning. It's a lot at stake, people. It's so much at stake this morning. Something. Don't wake up and complain if things go in the wrong direction about it. We are in the fight of our lives, and we had better act like it. Because at the end of the day, those people who are willing to go along with wrong with the rest of us, but right now they don't care. Because they're not looking at the big picture. Because that's not their children out there dying. It's not. The women's rights. Let me tell you something. If you're willing to go out there and let a man make decisions about your body and what you can and can't do about your body, that's your business. But I don't vote like that. If you don't care in conditions, you don't care about that. See, but I don't vote like that. I care. It depends on it because it does. Black fathers, they love their children too. Black fathers, they love their children too. Better get out and vote. So all this business, all this rhetoric, you better get that chatter out your ears. And you better get on the right team. And I don't care how people tell you that your vote don't matter. Because they wouldn't be fighting you with all these texts, emails, these phone calls, all this stuff they doing. You think they'll fight you if it wasn't of value? When people break in your house, they're going in there to try to get something of value. They really trying to go rob you for something of value. And what they're doing through this voter suppression, they're trying to rob us with us looking at them. Because your vote is valuable. And they know it. Oh yeah, they know it. and you ought to know it. So on this morning, before I get off, I'm going to read something. A friend of mine, she passed away, but Sister White, she's always going to be dear to my heart. But she always would give me material, and she would laugh about it and say, "Hey, Electra, whenever I leave here from this side of earth, I want you to always remember material that I've given you and thoughts. That will keep us connected forever." And she has told the truth, because I think about her all the time. I think about she was I believe 47 when she passed away. But she was not only a friend of mine, she was like a spiritual mom to my daughter. And she would talk to my daughter just like as if it was me as her mother. And we all need people like that in our children's life. I don't care how old they get. You need somebody to speak to them like you would, because everybody needs to hear somebody else's voice outside of yours, as long as they tell them the right thing. But I want to share with y'all this morning right quick. It's going to take out a few minutes to just read something right quick. This very book that she gave me, and I thought about her. I thanked her on last night for speaking to me. Prayers from the Heart, 1-minute devotions. Now, listen closely. It says, "I rise today with the power of God to guide me, the might of God to uphold me, the wisdom of God to teach me, the eye of God to watch over me, the ear of God to hear me, the word of God to give me speech, the hand of God to protect me, the path of God to lie before me, the shield of God to shelter me, the host of God to defend me against the snares of the devil and the temptations of the world, against every man who meditates injury to me, whether far or near. Amen." I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it on my Facebook page if you want to go on there and just take a look at what I read. But this is something that me. I felt her spirit on last night, telling me, just hold on to God's hand. You know where to go. You know who to seek. Just trust God no matter what's happening. She would always tell me, when it gets too rough, don't never speak the truth. That's my friend. And she is still with me in spirit. And I thank her for this book right here. I really thank her for this book right here. 1 minute. And when you can feel that kind of love for someone who is not even here, and it can remind you of things that they told you, whether it's your mother, it's your father, it's your brothers, your sisters, whoever you've lost in life, they are speaking to you because they letting you know they are still in this fight with you. Sister White is in this fight with me. My mother and father are in this fight with me. I've lost my youngest brother and my oldest brother, and they are in this fight with me. And you got some people in your life that are still in this fight with you because their spirit has out of you, telling you, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, because you're worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it. And if you don't fight, you're giving up. And to other people, I'm going to let y'all make my decisions for me. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm telling y'all this morning, nobody can sit this one out. So tomorrow, if you haven't voted, you make a plan to vote. And if you know people that's talking about not voting, you tell them what I shared this morning, along with whatever you have to share this morning. Because we're going to make history, y'all. This is going to be in the history books. We need to be on the right side of history. Can you do? Let's get on the, not for me, and just in general. Let's do that for each other. Let's do that for one another. Let's do it for generations to come. And their children say, at this time, Mama, at this time, Grandma, at this time, Auntie, whatever you are in that role, at this time, in November 3rd, 2020, what did you do? I pray to God that you can tell them, I stood on the right side of history. I fought for you. I fought that they wouldn't take your rights away as a woman. I fought that they changed laws that wouldn't allow people to kill you because they wanted to from law enforcement. I fought for pre-existing conditions because I knew that you were as able to gain some of those pre-existing conditions that I already had. So I fought for that to keep the health care in place. I fought for your own body. I fought that there would be laws in place. Man could just not beat you like he wanted to, and you didn't have a right to defend yourself. I fought for that. See, you got to be able to tell them that, because they're not going to always be 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. They going to grow up to be women. And they going to have to face some situations. So right now, we got to fight to make sure that they going to be all right. So as I leave this morning, I'm going to say to you, vote like your life depends on it. And for everybody who's talking this foolishness about they not going to vote, you find 10 more women to vote. For every black man that say he not going to vote, don't get upset with them. Just find 10 more women that have not voted and get them to vote. Okay? Y'all have a good day today. And just know we got work to do. And we can get it done. We can get it done because we built that way. Our ancestors done it. We can get it done. Y'all have a wonderful day. I love you all. Take care of yourself. And guess what? Tomorrow, make a plan to vote. Bye-bye.